So I was more closer to Moshine. But because we were friends and we'd hang out so many times together, I actually remember there was a time where he came to visit a trifecta and everyone was like, Moshine. Moshine says to me, Zet, what are you going now? Bese simile athi mina. Yazi singihambe ngiyothatha into esuyiphuza cause asiphuzi lutho. Shuthi ke me kitchen kanti yo spike drink yami. My vision now is just on and off because obviously like now the drug is like taking full throttle. By the time I gained the consciousness in the room that we were in, the guys were standing around and it's dark and I'm on the floor and Emotion is behind me and he's like having sex with me in my unconscious state. I decide, I'm like, no, I'm gonna go open a case. Oh babes, Ati. It's not like we virgin. Tati mal. She says to me, Pinja says I can't hang out with you anymore if you don't drop the charges. And I'm like, what? I figure up at a police station, figure shooting, so drop my charges. I'm a police, I just like.
You're playing with us.
No, they're like, who's sending you to do this? Because you're not the one that's doing this.
How are you?
I'm alright. I'm good. How are you?
How was your morning?
My morning was... I was in worship. I was listening to Claire.
Okay.
Like, I was just like in full worship. And then, getting ready.
You prayed?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, before you go for an interview, you have to pray so that everything goes well.
Of course, and also so I'm not operating from the flesh. Like I wouldn't wanna, be doing it like in my own way. Like let the Holy Spirit speak through me, and His will be done, not me. Because like how Paul says, I die daily to the flesh. Obviously, we're human, so we live in the flesh, and sometimes the flesh wants to be there and have its place. So I was just worshiping just so that like I am not operating from the flesh, because I do understand that there's the flesh and then there's God's will, and like obviously as we coexist in the body, like I must be sure not to do fleshly desires in His pursuit. Like I don't want to be doing that. Nice.
Tell me about yourself. Who are you and where are you from?
So my name is Ntombizethu Mvega. I'm from KZN, born and bred in KwaZulu-Natal, in Mlazi. Product of Men's High School.
Okay.
I almost said something, but then I'm not going to say it because I'm going to get them in trouble.
Yeah. You don't have to. We don't want issues.
Yeah, but then like Menzi is very strict. Okay. That's all I can say. So like I grew up like in like, that environment where like...
corporal punishment. Say it. Babakshaya.
Strong.
Bakshaya strong.
Bakshaya saying I'm right.
Yeah, boy.
That's what I was thinking of. Like, but then no.
I'm sure Mara now about Chinchile, like things have changed and they're no longer the same.
Yeah, no, man just what I said that.
So they put you in order.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I remember because I did my grade 8 here in Joburg, right? Because my mom lives in Joburg, so ngangifunda eSephia. And eSephia van Reinefeld, like it is because sorry, but yeah, like basically Sinjal. So I remember I was going to school and I was wearing this crepe and I had like these long braids, and like my granny came this one time and she saw that and she was just like, nope, you're going back to KZN.
Yeah.
And like when I went back to KZN, oh my goodness, Kiakunde means first thing. Mina ngijwayele touch my ass. My braids is get this fish and go on a blog. It means kiakunde. I remember the first month in figure being new unique. I pesa like my side team and like I pesa just a bit like because I'm like let's be stylish.
Yeah.
Like I can't be, you know.
Because you had like a bit of a Joburg culture.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. The way ngashawa ngakhona. Like ngashawa ngaze ngaba right. I remember in matric kuzoba top 10 and makubizwa amagama, and when the principal was calling my name, umshololo, may his soul rest in peace. What umuntu akalahlwa. Because like that's when like he saw good, wow. Like, you know, when they say like umuntu umlahla through the fires abe right. Like I was definitely his product way like like came right. But I won't lie, like the lessons that I learned from him definitely carry them till this day. Like even when the year started, he'd always say the year ends when it begins. Every single year without fail. That was the first thing it opened the assembly with. The year ends when it begins. And next thing it's September, you're like, and that's what the year ends when it begins.
Crazy. How was it like growing up in Umlazi? I mean, like, you know, I've been there I think twice if I'm not mistaken, and I walked into the township and I could see houses on top of mountains. I was like, hey, Durban is a very different place.
Oh my. I feel like as you're saying it, for me, how can I explain it? Joburg was more township than Durban.
Okay.
In the sense that KZN is Makai at the end of the day. And in as much as it's a township, but it won't be Joburg. So it has that rural element. Makhelwane bingelela wonke umuntu in nature nje ukuthi nje you can't dlula nje umuntu ungabingelelanga, you know, and it's normal. Like if ever you pass umuntu ungadlulanga, it's like, what? Are you okay? And whereas here, like it's like, you know. But then also with me, I grew up Gapi. So Gapi Mlazi, it's like Mlazi 4. So people from Mlazi know go to like Mlazi 4 is like, it's different. It's not like your typical Mlazi. It's like the burbs of Mlazi. So I didn't like really get the real like, you know, rusty busty of it. Whereas when I was in Joburg, where my mom stays, it's Himbis. Yeah, like that was like
top 2 townships in South
yeah,
Africa.
like there.
Hectic.
Like there was like, that's where I was like, So yeah, I think when I was in Mlazi, like I knew it was in Kulilokshini, but because of the nature of the house and home I come from, I didn't feel it. I was just like, you know. But yeah, when I got to Timbis, I was like, hey, Selokshini.
You spoke about your past, and that's the reason why you're here. You didn't have a shiny past.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm sure at the beginning of your childhood, everything was just okay, everything was fine.
Yeah.
But you sort of hit a pothole, and the world turned dark for you.
Yeah.
You know. But let's just go through it slowly. You know. At some point, you finished your matric, and you had to go to varsity. What was the plan?
Sure. Oh my gosh, like. I'm smiling because I'm thinking of high school. Oh my goodness, I had the best experience in high school.
Okay.
You know, like not even just high school, like my schooling experience, it was great, you know. And then fast forward, I matriculate, I get a bachelor pass, and then I knew I was like, I want to do journalism off the bat. Everybody's like, why would you want to do journalism? Because I chose accounting, life science, maths, that stream, you know. So everyone's like, what? Also, in maths and physics, and accounting. But you're in journalism, get English. But I'm like, listen, this is where I thrive. Like, I love English. And then I remember I wrote a letter to the University of... What is it called? An entrance application to the University of Free State, like stating that I want to come join. And then I sent it, they accepted me. Then I went to Free State. So then I didn't get the full bursary. So then I had to drop out of the University of Free State. And then I dropped out of the University of Free State. But even before I dropped out, I had already been like part of Gov CFM. So like I was a radio presenter on the campus radio station. Okay. And I was also part of the Journalist, which is the newspaper under Zubeida. She has a non-profit organization, so that's what I was doing in just that first year. So I only did 1 year there, and then like end of 2015, because of funding and all of that, then I just had to like, okay, let that go. So then end of 2015, when I stopped that, then Mo Flava posted that I'm handing out bursaries. Whoever's interested, come to Mhlanga for an interview session to study media. I'm like, I wanted to do journalism. Now I'm home because I didn't have the funds. I'm going here. Then when we go, I am nervous. I'm just like, this is Mo Flava. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared, you know. And then luckily when I got in, the production team hadn't connected the cameras properly, so we didn't start immediately. So when I walked in and sat down, I am shaking. He's like, oh, I'm gonna reconnect. And then they're like, yeah, siyalungisa. And then it's like, oh, so unjan. Then, you know, then I was able to, ease into it. So by the time they're like, oh, we're ready now, like I'm more comfortable. So then he's like, tell me about yourself. And then I did. And then he's like, listen, even if you don't get this today, you are definitely gonna make it in this industry. And you know, there's something uNomzamo Mbatha said when she was being interviewed by Paul Modiadi, ukuthi abantu abadala take lightly what they say when they say yabona wena uyakude. And that was definitely that moment where like a seed was planted. Ukuthi just those words and him saying it, I was like, like, even when things got half, I was like, God do more flavor wash. And if he did it and he said it, you know, so even like when the things would get tough, I'd be like, but this thing, you know, that was said, you know. And then I remember they said we'd call you after some time on a Monday. Monday because I thought the call would come at 9 a.m. I remember 4. I was in bed crying. I'm just like, I didn't get it. It's not gonna happen.
Shame, man.
And the call I think came at like 6 after working hours, and it was like, you got it. Wow. Come and sign your bursary, everything fully funded. Oh my goodness. Sure. Like even thinking about it now, like, wow. Yeah, no. I'm so thankful. Like, so thankful. Like, he really changed my life, because if it wasn't for that, like, honestly, education's expensive. You know,
education is the key to success,
you know, and like he gave me that key, so I'll forever be grateful to Mo Flava for that, definitely. And then but then unfortunately, that, in as much as it was so beautiful and it was so great, it started on a high, but oh my goodness.
The pothole.
That's where the pothole came. And you know, when they say the enemy comes to kill and destroy, sometimes he comes when God has just given you a blessing. And if you're not rooted in the word and like in him, like you and you don't know how to navigate it, you definitely won't know what's happening. Because for me, I won't lie, my foundation has always been church, right?
Nice.
So I come from like a background of pastors. Like my great grandfather was a bishop. All my grandfathers became pastors, and then my uncles are pastors. So I come from like a pastoral legacy.
Nice.
So like primary yonke until grade 10, I used to be a worship singer. Every Sunday,
so you can sing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I see.
So like every Sunday, like I would be in church singing, and I would sing one song that carries me today, actually, surprisingly. In the Shadow of Your Wings by Ntokozo Mbambo. Okay. So like every time, like I would sing that church, in the shadow of, every single Sunday, and people would cry, and I would not know what's happening. I'd be like, I'm just happy to be here, but why are people crying? And I remember I would ask my grandniece, Ma, indaba bekhala abantu kwaphela bengicula like indaba bengaculi kahle yini, and like the Holy Spirit used to move, and mina nje I'm just like I love the song esontweni babese bengibiza ngo In the Shadow. And then I only stopped I think in grade 10 when I was worshiping, and then I was cool in high school phela kwangena omunye sasifunda naye nangu mina I'm worshiping yabona the enemy phazamisa God's work. I am like no.
Let's talk about the pothole. I mean, like now you got the bursary, everything is just going okay. But the pothole you hit, it didn't just damage your tire, it actually damaged the car itself. And it took time for you to fix the car, your car, meaning your life.
That's true.
Talk to me of what actually happened for you to hit this pothole.
Sure. So, it was 2016. So in 2016, after I got the bursary, So the bursary was funding education, textbooks. Boston Media House is expensive, so that was like over 200,000. You know. So then, because I was always somebody that made means in Free State, where I was a contributor for the Journalist, the newspaper publication. I reached out to Zubaida Jaffer, the author and the journalist of that publication. Then she connected me with her daughter Yamna Moose, and she's a doctor, her daughter. So then they brought doctors, so the doctors got together and they basically were like, we're going to fund now your accommodation. Because I'm like, I have the bursary, I have the textbooks, I don't have a place to live, but I know this is what I want to do. So then those doctors came together and they were like, okay, we're going to fund wherever you need to live. And we found a place in Greyville, opposite Greyville Racecourse. Yes, so it was trifecta actually. So then I moved in there. I was going to start studying in February. So that place is Greyville Racecourse. It's not far from Florida Road. Yes. So being in my first year, living in trifecta, living with my friends. So there was 3 of us. Actually, we lived together. One was from Joburg. We were doing promotions together in Joburg. And then the other, she was from Durban. We had been studying together. She was at DUT, and me and my other friend, we were at Boston. So it was basically me, Lebo, and Lisa. So we just decided we're all going to live together. So in living together, you know, like when you are kids will be kids. We're right here. Florida Road. So we're just enjoying life. You know. And then in that moment, I got to meet Witness the Funk. Yeah. So I got to meet them through a friend, Ulisa Jakes. She's no Sipo Jakavula now. She doesn't go by that. But that was a pseudonym thing. You know, like Instagram and like emceeing and all those things. So then she had done video vixening with them, so they were friends, something like that. And then we became like this group of friends, you know, and like we'd hang out together, go clubbing together. We were just friends, like we would just hang out together, and it was just a friendship that started just like that. And we would go out, go clubbing together. And this one night, me and Ulebo, actually, Unosip wasn't there. Me and Lebo, we decided to go to a 47th Avenue. It was owned by Kholo Dekor. So it doesn't operate now. But then when we went there that night. And so now this is after the long friendship of me and Witness the Funk. We have been together and
after
all
a
of
couple
that.
Of months.
Yes, but also like I was just mostly hanging out with them. Like maybe we would do if they have a video or whatever, nani. But yeah, you know. And then so this one night, me and Uleb, we decided to go out to 47th Avenue. Yeah, it was a Tuesday, I remember. So we got to 47th Avenue and Ulebo had like this blue dress. I'm getting used to color. I've always been like somebody that wore black. So she was like, just wear this blue dress. And it was very nice and tight. So that night when we go out, I wear that dress. And I remember we were there and there was, this other DJ, oh God rest his soul, I forgot his name now, but he was there, like we were just having a good time, you know, it was just me and Lebu. Me and Lebu used to get in and like own the place, like, you know, we were just having a good time. So in that night we met Udenja wayehamba no Nomkondo from Uzalo, and then they approached us. They're like, "Hi, how are you doing?" We're like, "We're good. How are you?" And then one thing led to another. We're all chilling together. Yabo. So then, witness the fang. I had been hanging out with them, right? And we were friends. So in us being friends, I was more friends with Umoshine.
Okay.
Yes. So I was more close with Umoshine. But because we were friends and we'd hang out so many times together, I actually remember there was a time where he came to visit a trifecta and everyone was like, Umoshine. And then ngamenzela amasin because there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Everything was no label. Like we never used to buy groceries. We would
Pause. Sorry. I just wanted to ask you, what kind of a friendship was it? Was it the friendship yoguti maybe kono munyo akufuna, or ile friendship yoguti entwana something like that?
So the friendship, it was a friendship where it started off as friends, but then he did start to develop feelings, but then I was like, no. And that's what I want to try explain with Ganja and how it got to that. We were friends, right? And we would hang out together. So because we would hang out together and I used to see how he was with girls, and at that time his baby mama of a long time was pregnant, I knew how he was as it relates to relationships, but I knew how he was as a brother.
I see.
So I loved him as a brother. But I couldn't see myself in a relationship with him because I don't know if you get me.
I get you.
Yes.
I get you.
So then, like, he did say, you know, I like you. Can we try something? And I was like, never in a million years. I would never be with you. I love you as a brother. But the way you handle yourself with girls, I'm not trying to get my heart broken, you know. So then he said, sure, cool. I love you too, and I don't want to ruin what we have. So, you know, oh, cool. So then even in that happening, like he got with my friends. Like he started things with my friends because that chapter was closed. It's not going to happen, you know. So then it was just one of those things, but it was something that was just moved out. Would say like, and ngathini, you know, there's some like njengoba ushadile justice kungenzeka ukuthi kube khona intombazane nje obsessed ekuthandayo, you know, and you know ukuthi, oh, she's so cute, une crush kumina, but like it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. Yes.
So it was the same thing where like I knew that like he really did have like a crush where it was like cute or whatever, but like I just knew it's never gonna happen. But like it wasn't that deep. So then we were friends with I wasn't really friends with FLO actually, like not even in a bad way, but like we were never boys like that. Or Ox Cable would hang out here and then, whatever, like we've been in places where we've been together. But FLO was always just doing his own thing. Like he's always been like, I think me and him had like the same level of ego and confidence, so like we never really gelled, you know.
Two lions in the same room.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like we never really, but he got along with Unosipo, Nolebo and stuff, but like me and him were never really boys like that. So then afterwards, that Tuesday night, when I was in that, so I don't know what happened exactly now, but there's a time where yabona, if you're in a setup where like mhlambe asithi and somebody's like, kanti indaba ungamfuna uMoshane wena, like why vele ungafuna ukuba noMoshane? Moshane yakuthanda mfethu. So like X-Cable would always like be on that tip of uMoshane yakuthanda mfethu, you know, those type of things, and I'm just like you know, whatever. So I remember there's a day where I was just like, okay, to get out of this, I'm just going to say I'm a virgin, you know? Just like, let's just close this chapter because, you know, I'm not trying to. So then I remember, they were just like, oh, Moshe, next time. And I was like, hey, guys, you know. So I was like, no.
So that bakhona ukuphuma kuwe.
Khona sokwazi ukuhlala kube chilled, because like we'd hang out as friends and other girls there, and like girls would be doing things, and like it would be more of like kantwena, you know. And for me, because I've always, obviously because of my Christian background, like I don't just do things for vibes, you know, like obviously.
You've been celibate.
Like I'm celibate now and in a purity journey. Then I wasn't celibate, but it was more of like, I've always been intentional on like my relationships. I was actually dating Music IQ from Afrotainment, but then it was more of like intentional things, you know, where it's like even before I got into this purity journey, like, you know, then like Sasna 18, 17. So there's this thing of vibes. We're hanging out. It's vibes. When I know those type of things. So like I would not get into those type of things because of my background, and like I had this thing of if I'm doing something, say shut. You know, like the church. I thought me and Music IQ were getting married. You know, but then like that's like the.
But
church.
You were serious about it.
Yes,
you were so intentional about it.
Yes, so like,
shut.
You know, because the church, like you go to church, you're like, I'm getting married. I think that's why I took the purity journey, because I'm like, let me just wait, because I don't want to go to God because I'm like, give me a husband. Like, let me just fully get him fully. So then, like, I wasn't engaging in those fun nights. So then, like, it would be like candy, you know? So then just to get out of it, I just said, no, I'm a virgin, you know, just to get out of that. So then, now those Tuesday nights, when I'm at the blue dress nights, we go out, we see Udange, and he's there with Umkondo from whatever. So then that night, Udange wayehamba ne-witness Funk, just Efelo and his girlfriend and some other chicks. And I had never seen like an artist really big like that, you know. It witness Funk because we hung out with them. I think I forgot even they were like celebrities. And because ngangabazi like that, you know, because they were starting their career. So ngabazi nje ngolisa unosipho menje, there's these boys kanje music yabo ngayazi ngabo, but I didn't like see the bigness of them. Like for me, they weren't like superstars.
So they were like upcoming at the time.
They were big, but like I wasn't on Instagram. I started Instagram probably then, you know. So like because of Emenzi, Mpumimlazi, and I'm not like exposed to this life kanjani. So I don't even know what's going on in the entertainment like that.
Yeah.
So they big, but minangbaz. So then my friend introduces me to them, and mina, for me it's like, oh, laba fana bangani bamngani, but it's superstars. But for me, it's just like, utabo nosipho nobani nje kanjalo. For me, it's no big deals. Fast forward, I meet Udange. Udange phela big Nas. That is Umlazi. I'm from Umlazi. So if you're from Umlazi, like you know, so like that is like in high school, I used to love. God rest his soul, the late member before Mampinch, right?
Okay.
So I was just like, Armashesh. So like in matric, because I was still a virgin in matric, I used to say, I'm getting married to Armashesh. So like that's how I knew them. So
you were like a fan.
I was like a fan.
A big fan, a super fan
of Big Nas, because the Big Nas Umlaz. So when I knew them because they represent where I come from. So for the first time, when I saw Danger that night, I was like, what?
Blown away.
Artist. Now this is an artist, you know, like, and whereas Laba for me is just like, these are our friends, like Angas, like I never saw them like that, even though of the proximity and whatever and what they had. But for me it was just like siafan, yabo, because ngangabazi before I was introduced to them. So then that night when I met Danger, and Danger comes to me, I'm wearing this blue dress, he's like, I'm like, however, you know, like I was blown away. I'm just like, listen, so Fast forward,
I'm sure screaming, I'm sure. Eh?
Aibo, he randomly, we were standing Sinole, we were just like in the middle of the club having a good time, and he stood in the middle, was kanje. So so then next thing, Utenja's like smooth talking me. I'm like, what? Kanjani? Obviously smitten, blown away. Even forgotten Uguti I'm getting married to a music IQ. You know?
Don't be.
So then, like, oh my gosh, it's in the past. So then, Utenju hamba no efelo nalamantomazan. So then, Ati, let's go to a second location. Yabo. Like, sure, cool, no problem. Lebo, mina no lebo siyaphuma siyehla. Masiphuma no lebo, ulebo ngene emotweni ya DJ Bono because imoto ya Danger was packed. So mangehla wayehamba X5 igcwele. Bavule emuva. I'm like, excuse me, kwazi. And the Danger's like, phuma wonke umuntu la emotweni. Akuphuma wonke umuntu ezala indawo. Now I'm feeling like superstar ke manje. So then Efelo and everybody are going to the back, but they are pissed. Do you understand? For them, it's a pissed off ukuthi lona sitshela kabi oqala. Siyamazi manje usezoba superstar, like, you know. For me, I'm just like, Danger. You know, so then we leave, we go to Danger's place, me no Danger Mkondo, we're chilling there, we were singing, like we were just rapping, we were having fun. No Danger's like a hilarious guy.
Yeah.
We were just making beats, laughing, having the time of our life. So then eventually Efelo and everybody else leaves. So Kselebani, mina no Danger. So obviously I spend the night, and then in the morning when I wake up and Efelo and the crew come, they've brought meat. So maybe figure belethe inyama kuzosiwa uDanger like uyangenzela ku tray, he's bringing it for me, like serving me, you know. Now like we're dating. Like we're in like in a relationship. Also like I'm smitten because like it's like ifan kodwa futhi manje sesejola angazi nami kanjani. So like I think I was just like, you know, kanti I didn't think that would be offensive to anyone, you know. Ukuthi ayibo how lona ivagina no Danger kodwa uMoshane bengamfuni kanjani. I didn't think of that, you know. So I'm thinking everything is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, wonke umuntu une right yokwenza decision yakhe angithi ngempilo yakhe. So fast forward, like that was like Tuesday, mhlambe Friday or nini, mhlambe Thursday futhi. I think it was a Thursday, not too far. I get a call. It was late. I was going to I remember that night I was going to Cubana.
Okay.
I was dressed in like a jersey dress. I was wearing a jersey dress, wearing sneakers, and I was wearing a jersey dress and sneakers because I wanted to go to Cubana that night. And my friend Ulebo wasn't feeling so well. And me and her had never not went out together. Like we were the yin and yang. So she was like, nah, I don't feel so well. Like, you know. And I had a friend over from Bloemfontein because I started there and then. So my friend is over. She's visiting. It's nami ngifuna umkhombisa indawo yabo. So nice. She wanted to see indawo Cuban. Ulebo at 8 guys, mina I don't feel so well. Angaze ngaphumi no Lebo, but I'm like, okay, angikho ngedwa. Khona umngane wami. I get dressed. I'm wearing this jersey dress like engaka njena ngifeke namatiku. Just as sophuma, I get a call from Umoshane. Umoshane me phone, he's like, hi njani? Siyaphila njani? Ukephi? Gets me now. Sendlini. And he's like, do you want to hang out? I'm like, sure, why not? Of course, you know. And then I tell my friend, I'm like, that was Umoshan from Witness the Fan calling, he wants to hang out. Obviously, she's like, oh, what? How do you even know that person? You know, like, it's just, we're excited, we're going. So, ngiyakumbula-ke, imoto ifike, and we were going. And, like, we get into the car, and sure, oh my goodness, like, that night, I didn't listen to that song for a very long time. I can't even remember it because ipenda, yeah, you know,
Band.
I got
Yeah.
It was on repeat. It was on repeat. I didn't listen to it for a long time because for me it represented that night. We get into the car. The song is on repeat. I think lalisanda kuphuma lelo culo. We're on our way. We're going to a pre. It was very late. Like it was dodgy hours, but I'm sure it was like, if not 12, but like very weird hours. Like mhlambe kuyoshaya 11, but nje indaweni ngiseyivaliwe like dayisa khona utshwala. They just like, cause thina bese Cubana, they're like, no, sesihlala endlini. Obviously like na 18 uvashela umngane wakho siyohlala nama celebrity. Who wouldn't want to do that? So then sithi sizoya ePrea kuyothenga khona enye indawo lapha. I'm not going to say the word because it's a swear word. So siwe kuyothenga utshwala lapha kuleya ndawo. So makufika bathenge element twist, I think ne Russian bear, you know, and like the car was packed. Like there's a lot of people in the car. There's like the DJ, I think there was 2 cars even that night. Ox cable akekho. Yabo, no efelo futhi akekho. It was just uMoshine, Netimi, and just like a lot of people. Nomandisa, the designer. So nje kugcwele kuyahanjwa. So then mase after buying the alcohol, sihambe siya manje, siya endlini, siyochill. Masifika endlini, ugesi abanawo. Bacinyela ugesi. Yabo. So masifika kumnyama. So apparently they were moving out, they got evicted, babenenkinga. So vele nje ngalesa sikhathi bese baqala ukuhlupha, ngazi noma ifembi besibahluphisa or ini, but uma stand wabo baxoshila ngazi babenzeni. So they were in the process of moving, bakhathelwa ama lights. So ikamero likhishwe ifinish, li-empty, it's dark. So masingena sikhanyisa amafoni wethu. Sihlezi phansi sonke nje like in a circle, and then kunendish, we just pouring Russian beer ne lemon twist, and we playing a trauma game, you know. So we're just going around saying trauma, mundu khuluma trauma yakhe. I'm traumatized because my dad didn't love me. I'm traumatized because my dad raped me. I'm traumatized because ekhaya. Like it was just like
weird,
hectic. I think my trauma, little did I know that was going to be the night of my trauma, because I probably had like some dumb trauma like or something. Like I didn't have trauma, or my parents don't live with me, but something fickle. Like I didn't have the extent of what people in that circle had. Like it was just like sure. So then Moshine says to me, "Zets was alangokulma now." Gets me okay. I get up. We go to the dining room. So it was Pezulu, yabo. So we're standing and we're at the window. So obviously, mas windini, we're looking outside, and now it's dark. So sishiye utshwala lapha indish leklala ngayo, and he's standing next to me. Obviously now we've developed a friendship, a brotherhood. I would like to believe a sisterly brotherhood relationship. He's come over to a trifecta bayamazi ukuthi umngane wami contract yakhe kumina. I've slept over there on the couch. Like we've had moments where we've went out. Like we've just, you know. So we always together. We're now a friendship. So he says to me, we're looking outside the window. He says to me, "Yazi it, ngiyakuthanda, and I want you to know that I will always protect you. And I will never let anything bad ever happen to you. And it got emotional. I'm like, I'm an emotional lover type of girl. So I'm like, oh. And I'm raised with boys. So for me, it's like, oh my gosh, we boys. I found a brother, you know. So like, I also got like a bit emotional. I'm like, how much mfethu nami ngiyakuthanda mfethu uyazi ukuthi ngiyakuthanda, and I appreciate the friendship we've begun. You've become my brother, yabo. Bese simile athi mina, yazi singihambe ngiyokuthatha into esiyophuza cause asiphuzi lutho. It's okay, I can king. So the view is nice. I'm standing lapha ewindini, ahamba ekitchen. Shuthi-ke me ekitchen kanti yo-spike drink yami. Ahamba ekitchen-ke angimixele i-drink bese abuye nayo. Mebuya nayo bese-ke ayanginika. Angazi mina ukuthi i-spike wangithi. I'm just having this drink alone. Nakhona, I'm still feeling like, I'm not saying share, because I'm thinking he's being a gentleman. So uyithelele mina vele. So ngiyayiphuza. So like mangiphuza athi it was asihlalela kusofa, yabo. Bese ngithi mina okay, ngisuke ewindini siyohlala kusofa. Masihamba siyohlala kusofa. Siyahlala siyaxoxa nje, we just blabbing. Shuthi njengoba ngispikile ayikhikhi in lento yabo. Yena uyitshena ukuthi njengoba ngihlalisa kusofa, shuthi la befuna ukungirepha khona, yabo. So sixoxe ngikhumbula ukuthi hayibo shiya abantu ngala. I'm like hayibo Mushine, asemenze kwabantu ngala ngeke sesixoxele siqedile, it's fine, asibuyele emuva. He's like, yosihlale nani? I'm like, ayingeke, and shiya abantu asameni. He's like, eventually I'm like, nah man, we're being weird, we're being like, what's this isolate? Eventually he's like, sharp, no problem, asambe. Angakezwa lutho mina futhi efani, yabo. Sihambe sibuyele phakathi lapha la kugcwele khona abantu, sihlale. So masihlala ke laphayana, when it started kicking in, ngizwe ukuthi ngeke konke wrong manje yenzakalayo engamele ngabe yenzeka. I remember my dad, he always used to make me watch It Taken as a little girl.
Yeah.
So he made me watch It Taken a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot, because for him, he wanted me to be able to protect myself. You know, sometimes God sends these things and we don't see it. And actually, just to digress a bit, I dreamt of being raped before this night.
Sure.
But I didn't think anything of it. Like, I called somebody and I was like, and then they told me about maybe it means this, but at that time, it discernment, because that's strong, so, you know. And so, because my dad had made me watch It Taken for like, and when I felt it konke wrong yenzakalayo, and I felt ukuthi ngathi manje sengisenkingeni, ngaphuma la kuleli kamera. But mangiphuma vele angisekho in my best state. Ngiya uEfelo ntombi yakhe, they were in the next room usibusi. Ngiya kubona because Ox Cable wasn't there that night. Ngiya kubona, they were not part of the chillers we had. So mangiya kubona ngiyangena, I'm like, Efelo njengoba kade ngishilo ukuthi mina no Efelo we were never boys, you know. So obviously he's like, funani uzethu in my room, you know, like what is going on? So like I enter and I'm like, Efelo, I'm not okay. Please help me. Like, I don't know what's happening. Please help me. I'm like, konke wrong. And they were just like, hey, is it pum pum pum. And I'm just like, I didn't want to get out because like I could feel ukuthi angikho right. Like I'm like, Efelo ngiyacela but like because of everything, like, I don't know if he knew what was happening, if he was in on it, if they were in on it or what, but like they didn't help me. They just said get out. I got out. When I got out, I made a call. I called a friend of mine, and I called a friend of mine and I was like, angikho right. And ngeze ukuthi njengoba ngekho right, I'm about to lose consciousness. Like I'm losing myself and I'm trying to hold on. But ngicela ungilanda. Yabo, athi okay ngimsende location. Obviously, Lento's kicking in. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. By the time my friend arrives, Sengi out, like Sengi out by that time. So me figure like I can still walk, but like I'm out of it. So she's coming with her sister, and she's also from like a Christian background, and I think they were coming from a dinner. So like for them to see me in that state, sometimes the church would see like angas abazalwane sometimes abanayo lento yokuthi hawu ma unenkinga. They just like ay yabo. And I was like angikho right, cela ngisiza, please get me out of here. And then the Moshine and the other guys that were there, they were just like, she's drunk, like utagiwe. Why would you want to take somebody otagiwe? Like utagiwe, like udlala utshwala. Nimisaphi ngiyabutha njani udaka utshwala nina nisukela khona nisukela umuntu odlala utshwala. And I'm just like, I'm trying to make them see ukuthi no, but then akusakhulumeki ne-speech sami manje like kuba worse, like umzimba angisakwazi ukuhamba kahle, like I'm like yonke into is a fight, i-vision yonke into sekunzima. So kulokho okuncane engikwazi ukusho, it's my few words against their solid. She's drunk, she's been at it, leave her. Myekeni uzolala uzovuka right. So they left. Then we went back up, and like even in going back up, like my vision now is just on and off, because obviously like now the drug is like taking full throttle. So then eventually I passed out, and like when I did gain consciousness, I don't remember when I turned on a recording with phone near me, because obviously taken, so now I'm like in survival mode. I'm like, let me record if anything happens. By the time I gained the consciousness, in the room that we were in, the guys were standing around, and it's dark, and I'm on the floor, and Umoshan's behind me, and he's like having sex with me in my unconscious state. So I turn around and I'm like, Moshan, stop it, uyenzelani lento oyenzayo. But amandla vele awekho. So he just pushes me and I pass out again. And I don't know how many of them that night had sex with me. I only saw Umoshiny. I don't know what else happened. The next thing, I gained consciousness. Sisemotweni. The DJ Uzwit is like, yes, actually, I want to his fab. And now he's just uyangithuka yabo, uyangithuka nje, because cabanga ukuthi ngcono. So like I'm gaining consciousness, but I'm also passing out. I'm gaining consciousness, but I'm also passing out. Eventually, I start crying. Uyaqhubeka nje uyangithuka, abanye bayahleka. So they driving, yabo. I just close my eyes and I'm just like, yazin. I remember just feeling helpless, like I don't know what's happened. It's happened. I closed my eyes, and then now they having like their own argument. So and guy, like they're having like, it's like they debating whether they're gonna kill me or like take me home. Umunyuti, that was not part of the plan. Aibo umunyuti ngiyaza khumbule lutho. Yabo manje sebexabana bodwa, they're arguing alone. Eventually they take me, they dump me in front of where I used to stay. So my phone really, like, it was here. And then ngingangeni la ngihlala khona, because I'm like, I need help, yabo. So really at this point when they started arguing, I'm like, angisavuki ngempela-ke manje, ngeke ngisawavula namehlo nkosi yami, bangaze babone ukuthi I'm conscious and maybe decide ukungishaya or ukungilimaza or something else. And then I walked to Kakotini, manager kasithelo now. Mangifika Kakotini, I'm like, mangiya Kakotini, not that ukuthi ngangiya again, but Kakotini ubehlala no Music IQ, and I was dating Music IQ at the time. So I called IQ and I couldn't get him on his phone. I called him and I couldn't get him on his phone. I called him, I couldn't get him on his phone. So because he didn't live too far from me, I just walked there. Kandage khona uKotini. So mangifika uKotini is like, kwenzenjani? Obviously I'm in the States, like I'm drugged up. I explained to him what happened. I say everything. I say go to like kanje. Obviously he's like, ish, abafana badenje, basayine ku-Afrotainment. Should see he thinks, he makes a call, ufonela iboss yabo. And mina, because obviously nje angikho right, I'm thinking he's trying to get help. Even in then, I'm thought ufonela ambulance or something, you know. He steps out, he goes to talk to the phone, and then he comes back, he's like, hey, zethu. Hamburgers, thatha ishower. Nami, I'm surrendered again, because ngizocela usizo la. So lento ayishoyo ngaleso sikhathi, obviously drug, phazamisa yonke into nomqondo. Lokho akushoyo ngizokwenza. Ngihambe ngiyogeza, ngithatha ishower. Kanti shuthi decision abayenza kwe-phone call ukuthi hayi, akagezi, mhlawumbe evidence or ini, izophela. And then, he just says to me, I sleep. In the morning, he drives me to my place. He drives me to my place. And I remember that was Babe Sotoma's birthday. And I was a fan of Babe Sotoma. So I just deleted those videos off my social media. Like a couple of years back, I made a video saying, happy birthday, Babe Sotoma. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. And I was out of it. Like, in that state, you know. And then, Babes, I don't remember if she answered that. No, she didn't answer that video. Obviously, she was trending at the time, so obviously she wouldn't answer it. And then, I remember I got home, trafficked, and I didn't say anything to anyone that day about what happened. Like, I didn't even speak about it. So, I don't know, like, it was during the week though, right? So I got there, I was not okay, because like that drug, I don't know what drug they used, but it put me in a state. So even when I got back, like my friends, people could see what's wrong, you know? But because of what had happened and everything, you know, trauma silences you as well. And the embarrassment of, oh my gosh, I don't believe like I've just been defiled like that. Like that happened to me, you know? So I went into silence. I didn't say anything. I just kept quiet. And I kept quiet. So that was a time where I was like also starting like promoting and emceeing. So I had a gig that I had to do, I think the next day.
Okay.
It was an all-white event in Mlazka BB. So obviously my friends at that time, like my friends fully supported me, you know. So then the people that had asked me to come MC, they were like, okay, no, who do you need to come? Well, send a car, everybody can come. So the show had to go on. I'm like, yeah, no, like my friends already know this is what's up and they're going to support me. I have to MC at this gig. It's an all-white party. I'm just like, I'm trying to move. I'm like, So then I got ready for that event, got dressed, the cars came, everything. We left. Sure. Obviously, it was at a time where Witness the Funk was trending. So if you're emceeing, the music's gonna be playing. And my friends, knowing that I'm their friend, they are just like, oh my gosh. And at that time, I had a similar hairstyle, like I had cut the sides of my hair and like I just had like dreadlocks here. So like they would laugh and say Zefalo, So my friends, because they don't know what happened, they're just still going on and on and on and on about them, and the music is playing and everything. And it just got too much, and I was just crying. And the people paid, they like, what is going on? Like, the show's supposed to go on. Why is she crying? My friends are like, we don't know what's happening. I'm also just not saying anything. I'm just crying. Like, I'm just crying. And like, it was just a mess. Eventually, we had to leave. And when we had to leave, the driver that had fetched us to come to the gig took us back. So now my friends are like, nah, asambensi Boulevard or Absolute, yeah, something like that. I think Absolute, yeah. Or like, Florida Road is always busy, and at that time it was always busy. So as per norm, it's like, in as much as like Bokala, they thought it was overwhelming, like it didn't become something, Asambe, let's carry on. So because I'm not even talking at this point, I'm just like, hey, I'll wait in the car. So I'm waiting in the car with the driver. My friends go into the club. So when they go into the club, they have the keys for where we stayed, a trifecta. So now, banging Absolute, we parked outside Absolute. Eventually the driver's like, I need to go. Like, I don't know what you're going through, but like, go fetch the key and just go sleep. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I go inside Absolute, I can't find my friends. I look for them at Boulevard, I can't find them. Now I'm just like, oh wow, great. Now I'm locked out. Do you understand? So then I decide, I'm like, because Vela at that time, we were like in club promotions, always in clubs. We were just always like either A47 or something. So like when you're in that culture of like club promotions, club emceeing, like you start becoming, your family becomes who you are a lot, So I'm like, hey, yabo njengoba la kunje ngiyise 47 Geno Drive, because ngiyazi ukuthi okay e47 for sure khona o-males or kwenzakalani yabo, like I'll meet people there yabo, and while I wait for them they'll eventually get there. So mangifika e47 ngifike ngihlangane nomshana kaDenja, angeke ngimkhombe even today. So mangihlangana naye, he's like, hayibo sangikhumbula mina, ngikhumbula from that Tuesday, ngumshana kaDenja. I'm like, no, angikhumbuli. But then I'm like, ngimchazela ukuthi yazi I'm locked out, ngilinde olebo yabo. So mangimtshela ukuthi I'm locked out, ngilinde olebo, he's like, okay, asambe siyobalinda emotweni. Mesambe siyobalinda emotweni, should mina bese ngiyasho ukuthi obviously since umshana kaDenja, I'm trusting him because I can tell him what happened, So I'm like, yes, this and this and this happened. And I'm like, and I have the recording on my phone. Like, I'm definitely gonna like do something about this. I'm gonna open a case, nan. Kantangazi ukuthi nje, oh Nkosi yami, I'm just like telling on myself, And then he says to me, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that had to happen. My phone was off at that time. Ngifuna ukuyizwa le recording. He says, awuthi ngitsheshele yona la emotweni phone yakho. aphuma khuluma nefoni yabo khuluma nefoni I take a nap kancane. Obviously ngikhathele, the drug hasn't fully worn off, like I'm exhausted, I'm drained. Then he comes back and he says to me, ngiyazi ukuthi uthanda babes, yazi ukuthi babes ulanga phakathi. I'm like, unamanga, athi was akhombisa babes. So because bengiphume siya ku event emini, ijacket angigqokile anginikeze ijacket yakhe. Bese athi hayi khuleka ifoni yakho ishayela echarging, wena umakoti wena ngizokubekela kahle ifoni yakho. Nami gullible and naive, I'm thinking danger would protect me, so if loku umshana wakhe naye uzongiprotect, so I'm in safe hands now. I'm feeling like I was looking for a safe place and I couldn't tell my friends yet because I was scared, so this is the safe place I found. And then he's like, what's up on babes? Mangena 47. He takes me inside the club and then he goes and he introduces me to babes. So babes is so excited to see me. She gives me the biggest hug and I just break down crying. Like I just cry because I'm just thinking of everything that has happened and I'm just drained. And obviously babes is older than me. Like I was 18, she was 24 at the time. So like it you know, like when you're in that situation, it's like a mother figure, even though it's not a mom, but like it's the closest maternal thing, you know. And also I'm a huge fan, and like the embrace and the hug she gave me, I'm just like, I break down and I cried, and she's just like, hi khuleka mina uzohlala nathi. Nami I'm not thinking ukuthi kanjani manje. Kanjani? Like, how is Osara Jakes just coming to a stranger and saying, wozohlala nathi? Like, that doesn't happen. But because obviously nami yabo, I just ngihlale naye, and she's just like, oh sithando sami, hawukodwa baby na yabo, tendering to me, sihle sonke, we spend the night together. Kushayu 2, I remember ngo 2 mase kusukwa the angazi noma kwaba khona I-fight yini, abantu sekuyadutshulana khona la eclubini or something like that. Babes is like, was singene la emotweni segagasini manje. Angifuni nje ukuthi usale. I'm like, umshana ka danger iphone phela. She's like, hayi khuleka sihamba sonke unathi. I'm like, okay, sihambe segagasini. Masifike egagasini. So igagasini like alivalo yabo, livalwa only from lapha vele ngothuka kusekuvala. So mangabe ungena egagasini kungakavalwa ukwazi ukuphuma even nango 8. So singene kusamnyama nje for sure go 2-1. Masingena sihlale, I'm still with babes nje, we hanging out the whole time. Saphuma for sure kwako 9. Ngo 9 mase kuphunya, babes is like, I'm thinking mhlambe sekuyagodwa. She's like, no hayi ungahambi asihambeni sesikebheni ke manje yabo. So there's like this thing ehanjwayo eThekwini where uhamba umkhombi emtateni, sihambe kulomkhombi, masihamba kulomkhombi, we get there and we're just sihambe for the rest of the day. Eventually, like, time is going. By the end of that day, then like I tell babes, I'm like, listen, this and this and this and this and this and this and this happened. And then babes is just like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I'm gonna support you. Like, I'm here for you. You don't have to go through this alone. Don't ever leave my side. You must just always be in my presence, you know. Nami, I'm like, feeling support, yabo. We spend that day together. Eventually, we're together like that whole time. Eventually, we had to leave. But like we were spending like time together a lot. Yeah. And then eventually, I'm like, sekumele ngibuyele endlini mina yabo. And then babes is just like, okay, ungabuyela endlini. But then she calls me kusasa ekuseni first thing. She's like, asambe angisakhumbuli sasiyaphi yabo, masengilanda but sihlangana ku-Florida yabo. Mehlangana nami ku-Florida, she's like, yazi mfethu, I think you should move out of la uhlala khona. I don't think you're safe. What if your friends were in on this? What if mina at this moment vele ingqondo iphithene, you know, angazi, and like angazi ukuthi ngikholweni ngicabangeni. She's like, no man, move out of la uhlala khona, you know. I'm like, you okay, so move out.
Did you get your phone at that time?
I haven't gotten my phone.
Okay.
Babes is just like, no, ngizomthola lo guy inini but angimtholi into kanjalo. And then we never managed to get hold of that guy, and it was just like ukuthi ifoni ilahlekile kanjalo. But then it was also like it wasn't that like it was just a phone, you know, and it was just not even ukuthi it was just a phone, but at that time there was just a lot going on, and like a phone was the least thing that I was like even. And like even it wasn't made like a big deal. It was just like, girl, it's just a phone, you know, you'll get another phone. Yabo. It was just lightly nje kanjalo. And then now we're spending time every day with the babes. So eventually she says to me, you need to move out of La Uhlala Khona because your friends, so you
can't trust them, stuff like that. Yeah.
And at that time, then I break the news to my friends. So then when I tell my friends what happened, my friends are crying, they're hysterical. The one friend's just like, but why did you mention this? You know, we surely in land. She's just like, because it was at night. I remember Uzama was crying, like it was just terrible. And my one friend, she was just like, why did you even mention what this happened? And at this time, because I'm spending all my days with the babes, you know, and then. Eventually, I decide, I'm like, no, I'm going to go open a case, right? So I go to the police station, I open a case, mangivule amaphoyisa angisize, they write down everything, ngisho ukuthi kwenzakaleni, mangiqeda ukusho ukuthi kwenzakaleni, ngiyamtshela ubabes ukuthi sengivule icala. And the babes is just like, okay, asambeni khona umunye umngane wami Makhoba Sandile is a journalist. It's like samsiyokhuluma naye. Ngihambe ngiyokhuluma naye. At this time a lot of things nje are happening, yabo. I don't quite remember if babes got me another phone, or how did I get another phone, or if I was using her phone, or what was happening, but my memory of that time is really
a lot was going on.
A lot was going on.
And you were also still trying to process what happened to you.
Yes.
A lot was just going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then babe says, let's go to Makhoba, the journalist. Sambe siye kuMakhoba, umngani wakhe, they're best friends even till to date. Masifika laphayana ubabes is just like, yeah, mtshele yonke into eyenzakalile. But I think ngathola ubhobhobho. I think ngathola ubhobhobho actually. I got like a smaller phone, because I'm remembering now that on my way to uMakhoba, I called uKhaya Mthetho, right? Because I was in the church, and I told him, I'm going to uMakhoba, ubabes usisa kuMakhoba, ngestory kanjena, nge-experience, and uKhaya is just like, what do you mean, why, you know? And like at this time also, I'm in background is the Oasis nasekhaya, so I had set the sekhaya, and like ukhaya had prayed for me. Nasimangosuthu, there was prayers for me. So now when I'm taking this, like namang understand what's in the journalist. So I call him, I'm like, oh babes, uthi siyakumakhoba I journalist yewilanga or isolezwe, one of those, like. But then also, like the amount of alcohol that is there. Oh, babes, every single time she has alcohol, you know. I'm barely sober. So that's why I think my memory of that time is like fading me, because I was half in and out, and also, you know. So I'm telling Ukaya, I'm like, oh, babes, uthi ushoganje, and Ukaya is just like, no, don't do that. Ungai kuleyo journalist yindaba. What's the purpose of that, yabo? Like your family doesn't know, nobody knows, you haven't dealt with it. Like, why would you take that route? And I'm just like, angazi nami babes usho njalo. And babes took the phone of a drop. Because I think wabona ukuthi ukhaya manje useyakwazi ukungibonisa ukuthi wenzani, like zethu kwenzakalani, yabo. And nami I'm like, vele kwenzakalani, you know. And babes just hung up. She's like, hey, awukahle na musukulokukhuluma nabantu abaningi, angithi ngitshelile ukuthi mina ngikhona, I'm here for you. Musukulokhu ufaka abantu abaningi kulento, like I've got you. Sihambe sekumakhoba, mangifika umakhoba abhale I-article. Mebhali article umakhoba ipublish angishuthe, mengishutha shuthi kube khona ubab knowledge usimelani waka babes. So ubab knowledge he's from the church ekhaya kunesonto angithi. So he has a pastoral background with ekhaya. So now because of seeing me and knowing my surname, then he's just like, oh no, like what is going on? This is gonna like backlash. Then he intervenes. He's like, come through for prayer, like we're gonna pray for you, because now he's just like, he doesn't want to be involved, but then he's already involved. Because like amabosa labantu already like telling them, if she was able to speak to you guys, like ankhulume naye athathe imali, yabo. So Bab Knowledge is just like, ubaba ka babes, no maga babes, they're gonna pray for you. But labafana laba bathi bazokhipha imali, ithathe imali, yabo. And Bab Knowledge mdala, I don't know if he's still alive, but like he's like an old man.
And these are people who are prayerful people. They're advising you that you should take the money.
Bab Knowledge has a pastoral background.
Yes.
So I don't know in that now which season is he from, but I don't know if he's still in the church or not.
Okay.
So he's saying thathi mali, but then because une relationship no baba ka babes, he is saying sekhulume no baba ka babes, so baba ka babes uthimele kuthandazwe, yabo. So baba ka babes is not involved in dabeni yemali no maga babes. They don't know about that. I khulunywa leyo nto phambi kwabo. Bona umaga babes no baba babes are just like, ayithandazelo lengane, yabo. Because vele they are people that are just steadfast in prayer. So I khulunywa phambi kwabo leyo nto. It's just into nje ekhulunywa ubaba ka babes no maga babes mengekho kuthiwa babes mfethu khuluma naye mfethu labantu laba bafuna ukuthatha imali, shuthi ubaba knowledge usehlangane nomphathi wabo sekukhulunyiwe naye mhlembe khonto anikeziwe umakhoba uyena usuyitholile imali from their article. He got like a lot of money and it was like a party ukuthi break his story nani, and then into nje ekhulunya hash hash ubaba ka babes noma ka babes mengekho ukuthi mfethu mtshena athatha imali. Ubaba ka babes noma ka babes they just like lengane kumele siyithandazele, yabo, because isifikile kubona le ndaba. So kuthandazwe that night, and bengibazi umaka babes no baba ka babes. So kuthandazwe that night, bese ke babes athi zethu mfethu, it's not like we virgin, thatha imali. How much money would it take for you to let this go? Bese mina because vele bengingafuni ukuthatha imali, ngithi mina 2 million rand. because obviously bazokungeza 2 million rand. Bese athi babes, hayi bomfethu thatha 70,000 rand. Kanti vele shuthi yena sekukhulunyiwe naye ukuthi malini esizomnika wena ke ihambise kuyena. And obviously she's the person like engihlezi nginaye. And at this point sengimove out nala ngihlala khona sengihlala eSydney. Sydney is right opposite yena noMapintshi. So like I'm in close proximity every day nginaye. Ngiphume esikoleni ngihlangane naye ekseni, uyena ngisesikoleni, uyena umuntu engihlezi nginaye. So she's just like, zethu mfethu thatha imali, yabo. And I'm just like, ngeke, yabo. Ngeke ngikwazi ukuthatha imali. And she's like, it's not like ubuyivachini, yabo. So it drags on, kunama articles, kunama newspaper, iSowetan. So obviously, pressure manje babes ukuthi hayibo, things are getting out of hand. Why are you not handling this? Like, why are you not speaking to her to drop the charges? And at this time, she's the only person I'm talking to. I have that moment where I'm speaking to abantu ngedwa efonini, but proximity ngihlezi nje nginaye.
The multiple articles that came out, so it's in how did they get this information? Was it through this other journalist?
It was through Umakoba. Umakoba was the first one to release the story.
Then it broke out.
Like that.
Okay.
And babes Umakoba are best friends till to date. So for her it was more of like, let me plug my friend. So, but then I think also it was just about, my friend's career, and all of that. And then now, after like probably like a month or like some time, yabo, she comes to me and she says, every day in Ginai, after school, before school, every day, she says to me, Pinja says, I can't hang out with you anymore if you don't drop the charges. And I'm like, what? I've moved out of a trifect. I don't have any friends. I am only with you. And even everything I do is controlled, it's centered. Like who I speak to, what I do. Like, what does life even look like outside of you? And you know, trauma makes you want to clutch onto one person that you're just like, okay, life's still okay. Like, I've still got this one person. And I'm just like, no, I'm not dropping the charges. She lets it go. Then the next day she says, today's going to be the last day you see me if you don't drop the charges. Sure. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'll drop the charges. But now news has broke out. Angithi yonke into siyonke indawo. Mengiphelezela kuzowaziwa ukuthi uyena ongi-influenceile. At time, mina ngeke ngikwazi ukuhamba nawe. And like, she's adamant on the fact that if you don't drop this, sihlezi nje into elokho esho ukuthi hayi mina ngiphinde ngihlale nawe mongadrophanga nje lama charges ngophinde ungibone. And she's just like, just take the money mfethu, it's not that deep, yabo. Eventually, like, I remember it was after school, she said, I'll wait for you at workshop, hambi uye police station workshop uyodropha ama charges. Ngifike lapha police station, mangifika ngisho ukuthi ngizodropha ama charges. Amaphoyisa are just like,
you're playing with us.
No, they're like, who's sending you to do this? Because you're not the one that's doing this. And like, in that moment, like, I can't even answer because like bayabona nabo ukuthi ngithunyiwe, yabo. And they just like, khuluma mfethu kwenzakalani, yabo. Ay ngilindiwe vele phandle, yabo.
What pushed you? Were you scared of losing relationships?
I didn't have anyone. I had already broken all the other relationships. And in that time, because I hadn't healed from my trauma, she was my only safe space. So I was scared now of having to deal with the trauma and deal with everything alone. Because now, every day I'm seeing her. Every day she's giving me alcohol. Every single day. So now, like, I've built a terrible coping mechanism, which is her, alcohol, and every single day. So like, it's every single day she's taking me to school, bringing me from school, with me every day, and there's alcohol involved. So it's like, it's not going to get better, but it's clutch.
Yeah, if you don't drop the charges, you're going to lose all of this.
Then I have to go through it alone
again from
and I'm
scratch.
just like, oh my gosh, I've already lost my friends when I moved out. Like, who will support me? Also, I haven't dealt with it. I haven't sat in it. Like, I'm just, I'm having moments where I'm just crying, and she's there, and she's just like, Musukala, but like she gets it, you know. I'm just like, what will happen? I'm just thinking about everything. I'm like, oh, Nkosi, I'm like, I can't see, like, I couldn't see another reality outside of this because it became a pattern for so long before it was said. Listen, it was like, I can't stand on my own veil, yabo, and then ngincike kanje, and then it's like, yabo nje uncike kanje, ngiyasuka mina manje if you don't drop the charges, and I'm like, hawe ma ngeke ngikwazi ngizowa ngeke. And it just felt like, in that moment, it just felt like I can't do it. I can't do it alone. I just felt like I can't. And also, I've lost so much already. I've lost my confidence. I've lost everything. And then this is the one person that feels so real. And she's just like being like, I've got you, you know, like, like also like, I'm feeling like, you know?
Yeah.
So then she says, I'll wait for your workshop. Go do it. I do it. I don't say anything. They're like, you're not doing this. I'm not answering anything. Gets mang puma. Oh, babes hugs me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay, like shit, I didn't right, you know.
After dropping the charges.
Right, mang puma police station again. She hugs me. She's just like, no, you did well. Okay, Mampinja has organized a lawyer for you. Just take 70,000 rand if it's imali, you know, like it's not that deep. Now she's working everything through me with me. All right. So now at this point, angisabi around umndeni wakhe because uma wakhe nobaba wakhe bangithandazelile abazi ukuthi kwenzakalani manje. So then asayi kubo babes, because if word gets out ukuthi ubabes wenze lento, it goes against what they stand for. They pastors, and they wanted everything to be done right. They wanted justice to be served, and they prayed on it. And to know that their daughter did this, so ubabes nas like, I can't have you saying this to my family. So now we're never going ever go boga babes. So then that happens, and then Umampinja is like, okay, I'm gonna organize a lawyer for her. Let her family come in and handle this. Yabo? Umampinja organizes the lawyer, and babes is just like, nah. Hey, Umampinja, like Umampinja, from his standpoint, he was like, his boss is on his neck, like, sort this out. Like Ganga babes or whatever babes is doing there, like it better work, you know. And so obviously he's just like, okay, like I'm just gonna organize like a lawyer, but like let her family be involved. Like I don't want to be involved in this. Like let her family be involved. I remember at some point he was like, hey, angas kosiam upumndeni wakho mfethu ngizohlanganisa ilawyer mina awubiza umndeni wakho mfethu angazi mhlambe nizohamba niyethenga gross angazi nganithengela igross again yabo, like because he was just he didn't know what to do in that point, because he was like, I'm in a tight place, I don't know what to do, but like, you know,
So
and
what the heck is that?
And then Babes is just like, now Babes is thinking about the money. She's like, umndeni wakhe. Now you can never see Umampinja, because I'm gonna do things my way. So Babes is like, okay, you can king, since umndeni kazethu uzoba involved. Asambise kwi-lawyer. Babes athi asambise kwi-lawyer zethu. Masifika kwi-lawyer, ithi lawyer, yeah, athi Babes, yeah, cela imali. Ithi lawyer, hayibo, ngeke ngikwazi unikeza imali nina. Umuntu omdala lana. Babes is like, at and wena nje umngani wakhe wena uyintombi yamampintsha, so. And then Babes is like, okay, Sam. Babes athi, hayi, ngabafonela again, ngizofonela umngani wami. Khona umngani wakhe kuthiwa uHlengs. Uma wengane yazakwe. She calls her and she's like, woza mfethu wozowenza ngathi usisomdala kazethu la kulelo yalena mfethu khona imali emeli iphume lana yabo afike uhlengizivele mefika laphayana kufike ilawyer ithi hayi mina ngizokhipha 20,000 rand kuphela because it's the first time enye ngizobe ngiyikhiphe ukhiphe ngempela 20,000 rand lo ubeke etafuleni awuthatha ubabes 20,000 rand phone bese athi babes yabona imali mfethu lena at the end of the day
was it cash?
It was cash.
Okay.
Bese athi he didn't give us cash, I'm lying. Ati it's fine ngizokhipha 20,000 rand mean, right? That's what I'm going to sign off for now. Because sengimbonile uhlengis. Bese athi babes yabona mfethu imali then it's right. I just recently moved out of a trifecta rest na yonke into la ngihlala khona ngidinga izinto. So imali ifika ngo DJ Bone, the late DJ Bone, may his soul rest in peace. Afike sihlangana naye ku Florida sihamba noSigaqa. uSigaqa uku Afrotainment uyadansa yabo. He was the driver at Babes ngaleso sikhathi. So he's driving us no Babes. And I remember uSigaqa was just like, do you know what you're doing? Uyazi wenzani? And like in that moment, like I'm just like angazi, like I can't explain that season, I won't lie.
You're young,
and also
man.
I don't wanna like not take accountability. I was equally at fault. I don't wanna like not be accountable. I also played a role, and I think for the longest of time, that's why I wasn't even able to speak about it, because I was ashamed that I too played a role in those shenanigans. Because why did I also, like, agree to that? I was involved. Like, I was a participant in that. I was a victim, but I also participated. And then after that, they took out low 20,000 randi, and then after low 20,000 randi, uSigaqa did ask me, do you know what you're doing? I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember saya gateway, babes wathatha 10,000 rand wayithenga iweave la igqoke kuholo lo. Wathatha 10 phela ukuthi support system angazi. But she had the money vele yafikela again. So she was like, now 10.
How?
And then afterwards she was like, samsithenga ama-weave kusasa. Wangithengela i-weave engaka, and she bought like a 30-inch. I was really a child, because how does that even make sense? Like, she bought a weave, touched my ass, and like I bought like a bob. But like it was for me, because vele ngangazi nokuthi kwenzakalani. Yabo. And then everything happened, and eventually now the charges are dropped, and imali isisayiniwe off kwi-lawyer ngithi. So I just want to emphasize that night, out of the three, Ox Cable, Efolo, No More Shine, quick group, because it says hip hop group, quick witness the funk, only More Shine was there. Like, okay, he was the only one that was there. As to whether lababanye abantu that were there, they were involved, or Mandisa, the designer, and all the people that were there, I don't know. Ngabona Moshine Pale. But out of the group, njengoba kuthiwa witness the funk, there was only Umoshine. And as for Efolo was in the house, but he wasn't in the room, he was in another room. And I tried going to him, and I don't know if angazi ukuthi wayazi ukuthi kwenzakalani or engazi. Do you understand? And not even to defend him, but just to be like realistic. Ngenzeka uthola ukuthi usendlini abantu bayaphuza ngalo hlezi nentombi yakho kufika umuntu uzothi hey wena udakiwe awukahle yabo. So angazi. Or it could be ukuthi he was in on it or something, ngesazi, only God knows. And then Ox Cable, he was not there even in that night. When the turmoil and everything happened and the crumbling came of Ikaria Manje, the whole group, everybody suffered the consequences. Why God let it happen like that, I don't know. Or Ox Cable only became involved when it was now the lawyers. Now let's let this go away. And obviously now we're all meeting in the lawyer rooms, and now it's trying to fix Imesia Moshine. Do you understand? But everyone's just like, we're so big, we can't afford to lose this. But everybody's trying to fix, yabo. And then after that happened, and I remember, sex is spiritual.
True.
And Moshine suffered from schizophrenia. Now he's in the streets. He's not okay. I hope God heals him. Maybe if he repents, he'll be fine. But after that incident, I was admitted into a mental hospital because of acute psychosis, to show that sex is indeed spiritual. And when I got admitted into hospital, obviously that's when things like everything ended. Like in terms of now game manje yonke lena and everything. I'm not in the ngisibhedlela. I'm in this institution, because everything just came crumbling. Depression kicked in hard. I remember being at the gym, working out rough, and this white man was like, what is wrong? What is wrong? What are you trying to blow off? And nothing was working. I was trying to work hard. I was trying to do this and everything. And it was just eventually took a toll on my mental health. Then I got admitted into hospital. When I got admitted into hospital, by the time I got out, babes had blocked me. And before that happened, then there was the whole Westing, the dance school and all of that and whatever that was. But then by the time I got into the mental hospital, she blocked me. Everything was done also. The charges were dropped. There was no need for her to be in my life. And she got Iwololo released. So, she did her part and got her bargain, if that was their deal. If not, I don't know, only God knows. But all this to say, when parents say you must watch your drink, and we take it lightly. Yeah, it happened to me. Just from a drink and all of that. And so many people tried to cover it up. And so many people were involved in trying to bury it. And for the longest of time, I thought my confidence was gone. Finishing my course was hard, because I just was I don't even know what I'm doing. But I did have support. Mo Flavor supported me a lot. He was always there. Cam Teto supported me. Oasis Pastor supported me. N730 supported me. I did have support. Kantoli, they supported me. My family supported me. But it took a while for me to fully recover and be at a point where I'm over it. It literally only took going back to Jesus. And only he was able to repay me, because I didn't go to church, because it happened during Good Friday and I was supposed to be in church, and I was like, I've served you all my life, God, and just 1 week and this happens. So then I was mad at him and I wasn't in church. Obviously I can't heal if I'm not with God. So then I went through a cycle of now drinking my life away. Promiscuity hit. Promiscuity happens, especially when a lady or anyone, not even a lady, has been molested. You suffer that. And then that is how now I moved to Joburg, because I'm just Durban is heavy for me. I don't want to be in Durban anymore. And I did try being okay. But I remember this one time going out with a friend, and we were out in the club and nobody wanted to be near me, because I was so in the MC thingamabob that when I walked in with my friend, sure, people were just like, nope, we cannot be seated with her. I remember we were with a friend and she was there with some other DJ that I won't name. He knows himself. He doesn't deserve to, be involved because I think he was just being a friend to witness the funk, really. He's still a DJ now. So when we got to the table, he was like, we cannot sit with her. We cannot sit with her. What will the boys think? And I remember I left that night. I went back home and I was just like, you know what? I don't think Durban's for me. Because anywhere I would go in, it would be like, this girl that ended Witness the Funk's career. And that's how people looked at it at that time. They were just like, how dare you ruin the boy's career? And not understanding that he did that to himself, honestly. He did that to himself. I didn't say he must do that. And I just spoke up and I wanted to stand up for myself. Unfortunately, I got blocked from standing up for myself.
Yeah.
And eventually managed to get silenced. But then after in my third year, I decided I'm just going to go complete this course in Joburg where nobody knows me.
More shy. Why do you think he did what he did? Was it maybe a part of a ritual activity? Maybe, you know how it is in this entertainment industry. Or maybe was it a part of like a revenge? So who do you think you are? I've been with so many girls. But why do you think he did what he did to you?
I won't lie. Fleshly, just physically, I think. And as you're saying that, I'm being reminded that two can exist in one, in the sense that we're in this world, but we're not of this world.
Okay.
We're of God's kingdom, but that doesn't mean we're not in the world, right? So somebody can do something for a worldly motive, but because of darkness. So I think it definitely operated in the spiritual realm of a cult, but it also stemmed from revenge. Definitely.
So it was both ways.
It was both ways. And I think that's why, and also I'm not God, I can't say that's why he's crazy in the streets now. But the reality is, if he was not wrong, he should still be okay. But the reality is, Jesus died on the cross for all our transgressions, right? Past, present, and future. But then, that cult was not operating from God's kingdom. Do you understand? So, that wrath, I can't say where it came from. Because he may have started something in another realm that he was unable to see through. And now his own realm is like dealing with him. Do you understand? In turn, obviously, there's consequences. But I know Jesus. Jesus, is a gracious Jesus. He loves us all. He forgives. He died on the cross for our sins. He wouldn't make somebody suffer to that extent. So that is that other cult's kingdom that he got into, and maybe he was unable to fulfill certain things, or maybe he wasn't able to see through certain things, but I can't say it's fully the kingdom of God. Totally.
Are you still in communication with Babes by chance?
So after that thing happened and everything, I didn't understand why she ghosted me. So I did try reaching out a lot. I did try reaching out with no response. But then she did randomly rock up, I think in 2024 on my Instagram, this is after I started posting my HIV journey, and like that was blowing up. And she just said, I'm so proud of you, babes. Baby, or something like that. And I'm laughing because I found it so weird, because I'm like, how? Like how? Make it make sense. I don't know if she was saying it because she meant it, or if she was trying to silence that I would never speak out, because she was like, oh my gosh, your reach is growing, or what's happening, or what that was. Or maybe it really was just from like a pure genuine, I'm proud of you for speaking about something that is stigmatized, which is living with HIV and being the voice behind it. But we'll never know. Only she'll know that. But honestly, I won't lie, I have forgiven everybody that was involved in that. I had to forgive myself first. That's why I'm able to live now. Because I couldn't live. Like, I was always trying to numb myself somehow. But going back to God, He definitely restored me and like made me like be able to even talk about it now, like without, breaking down and like everything. But like, I definitely do realize that, sure, it took away so many years of mine, and like 10 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And
this was in 2016. I'm so sorry about what happened to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, what happened to you wasn't right. Was wrong.
Thank you.
And people were supposed to go to jail, and you were supposed to get justice.
Thank you so much.
And you were young at the time, and you didn't know how to handle stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever that people told you to do, and I mean, like, these are not just ordinary people. These are people like at the highest level. If they would tell you to do something, you would do it.
Yeah.
And you trusted them.
That's true. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Do you sometimes sit down and you feel like, you know what? I've trusted the wrong people at some point.
I won't lie. I definitely do think growing up, I've always known I have a lot of love. I love love. But I never knew that love would like be my downfall, because I think the root of it all was definitely love. I was operating from love, and I loved. Oh my goodness! So there's a video I saw sometime. It's sithanda abantu abangasithandi, sathemba abantu abangasithembi. Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely trusted the wrong people, loved the wrong people, and I want to say I don't understand why I had to go through it, but maybe I went through it so that I could be a voice for somebody else who's gone through it, who's about to go through it, because the reality is we live in a cruel world. And if it took 10 years of my life, hopefully somebody else watches and like, for them it doesn't take that long. Or somebody else sees me and like, it doesn't take that long for them to get to where I am now. Because like, I'm fully in a place now where I'm operating like, I'm living my life. I've dedicated my life back to God, back to Jesus. The Holy Spirit operates inside of me. And He has given me something that no human being can ever give me. Something that I looked for a really long time. Because after it happened, oh my goodness, my confidence was shattered. It was gone. A friend of mine even told me, and they were like, Zetu, you've changed. You're not yourself. And after hearing that, I tried fighting like to get it back, and like I was struggling. And they saw and they were like, don't fight it. Maybe this is the new you. And yesterday when I was talking to you and you said to me, you're still confident. When I was watching a sermon last night and the pastor said, when I'm praying, I wish I can just stay with God because he's done things that no human could ever do in and through me. And it reminded me of what you said when you said, you're still confident. Only in that moment I realized that God restored it. What was gone? Who you seeing now? I was not this person.
Tell me, I want to know, because somebody would ask themselves that this thing happened 10 years ago. This was back in 2016. Hip-hop was the trending thing at the time. A lot of people were listening to hip-hop. You go into a club, you're listening to Questa, Casper Invest, a.k.a., So, hip-hop was the thing back in 2016. But even though something bad happened to you, a major thing that happened to you, which was wrong, somebody would ask to say, why come out now? Was it because of you are tired of the pain and the luggage that you've been carrying for the past 10 years? And there's a new self. The Bible will say, for those who are in Christ, behold, they're a new creature. So now you want to, experience the new self and leave the past.
I won't lie. Like, for me, the reason why I would definitely say it has been now is because, as I mentioned, all these years, I've been dead, but alive, barely living. Like, the past 9 years, oh my gosh, horrendous. I was drinking to a pulp. No ambition, no direction. I just wanted to be dead, And the reason why I've decided to come out now is because of the restoration that God has done inside of me. I want to be able to be a restoration to somebody else who has went through that. And it's in no way trying to defame, decharacter, or, hurt or like stigmatize anyone. Like, if anything, me even coming out now, it's actually like gonna help people, because the reality is people think Witness the Funk is all three of them. So when people see them, they're like, you all three raped a girl, but that's not the reality. Do you see? And also, like, as I'm saying that, like, why should everybody carry the burden of one person when they all didn't do it right? And also, even that, I would have not been in a season where I'm able to even think of other people in that context if I hadn't done the healing in me first. And also, ultimately, even him, I want him, if one day he looks at this video, I want him to know that, Moshine, I've forgiven you, and I really pray and hope you get better. I really do hope he gets fine. And maybe even if I watch this video, maybe he gets released if the trauma is because of what he did. Because before I got healed, people will send me his videos and they'd be like, look at what God did. And I'm like,
sure.
Are people okay? Like, why? What does that do for me? Nothing. Like, that does nothing for me. So if anything, I would love to see him like abashapu, like, like it happened. And if he lost his mind because he's beating himself over what he did to me, like, Jesus died on a cross for our sins. And if we are to walk as he does, like, we should know how to forgive people. So ultimately, the reason why I'm coming out now is because I've let it go. I've forgiven fully. And before, I won't lie, I was holding on. I was like, what? Oh no. Like, I was holding on to it. Like, I was like, but also it was crippling me. And Kabelo, Pastor Kabelo, right?
Yeah.
He preached a sermon on, are you offended? And he was speaking about the fact that offense blocks spiritual breakthrough, and holding on to things blocks your breakthrough. And he said, the fact that it happened is not your fault, but holding on is your fault. and you can't hold on to one thing and open for yourself. So this is me letting go of everything and saying, like, I release everything and I forgive everyone. And I don't want this to even be something where people are like bashing or defaming or no, it's not about that. It's ultimately just about healing. And I hope through my healing, people get healed that have experienced what I experienced. But also, I definitely do want to again say, it's God. It's definitely God. It's definitely God. And again, Pastor Kabelo definitely helped me, like, in saying, release the offense, you know? And holding on just blocks you. And even, like, when he prayed for me, like, he has no idea that I'm doing this. Yeah. So I don't even want it to be like a thing of, oh, Kabelo, to me. No, he has no idea that I'm doing this. He just heard about a girl who experienced something and was just like, release it, and he prayed for me. And the power of being in prayer is that when you meditate on the word, Jesus lives in you. And what Jesus did, you're able to do. So he was able to heal me because he sits in his secret place with God.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to be restored. And that's why I'm able to say, I release everyone. Like, I release them all, and I don't even want them to hold themselves like to that. And more than,
or maybe you're trying to attack them in a way. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
yeah.
Oh no,
you're just speaking your truth.
I'm just speaking my truth, and also just like, I'm speaking my truth in my own time, the way that it happened, and also taking back my confidence that I had lost. Something was taken back from me back then. This is me taking it back. And if this was some spiritual or demonic cultural thing that happened right now, like, as I'm doing it, like, I am also denouncing and breaking that generational curse and reversing it back to that bad kingdom, that I am not just anybody's. I am God's daughter, and God fights for me. So whatever was holding me, tying me, whatever cultural thing that was done then, like, God has broken me free from those bandages. And if people were operating in cults trying to hold me there, they must just know that they won't find me there. As Jesus said, we are made in his image. That means that we are seated in heavenly places with him. So whoever wants to attack me, whoever wants to hold me in any spiritual cults, they have to go through him. And God is not a man that he should lie. He's not a man that he shall ever be defeated. Amen. So this is definitely just me releasing myself.
We're going to cut it here, but we're not done. You are not done. Because after this whole thing that just happened to you, you got infected with HIV, and that's a different story. Then there's other things as well that happened to you, all because of you are running away from what was happening, or what happened to you. So I'm going to stop it here because we're already 2 hours in.
Oh my, really?
And
sure.
You're going to come back for a part 2 so that we can continue with this. Whoever was watching this, they must be aware that there's a part 2 coming to explain how you got infected with HIV. But I just wanted to thank you for opening up. And I hope this also plays a role in healing you.
I just want to say thank you to you. Sure. Like, this is definitely spiritual. Like, God is in here. Like, I don't know. I feel something lifting. Like, I definitely felt something lifting. And I won't lie, I was so scared of doing this. I was nervous. I had fear. But I think that was definitely the enemy attacking the healing process. Yeah, God is definitely working through you. Thank you.
So this is not the last time I'm seeing you. You're going to come back. We have to continue, or else we're just going to record this thing for 4 hours. And we don't have the time for that. But come back and let's do a part 2 because there's more things that happen to you. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice.